It's a disgrace. The transfer window is a disgrace. The rejections are embarrassing. And Manchester United, Erik ten Hag, are absolutely in the mud. The rebuild, the vision is in tatters. It's an absolute disaster. It could not be worse than things are right now. That's the narrative being spun. That's what we're being told, not just by a lot of Man United fans, but by journalists now as well, that it's a disastrous summer. Ten Hag stunned by transfer rejections, with Manchester United's vision close to being in tatters already. Less than a month since being appointed, Erik ten Hag and the new regime, the new senior members of management running Manchester United, have already been written off before a deal has been done and before a ball has been kicked. Now, even for me, this is one of the most premature ejaculations I have ever witnessed in my life. I haven't actually witnessed very many. Jim from American Pie. But it's one of the worst I've seen in the footballing contents. Fans throwing their toys out of their pram already. We're in trouble. We're going to fall apart. Get a grip. I want to understand it first of all, though. Why do you feel like Man United's summer transfer window is so bad? What is the reason? Like, genuinely, what is the reason? In your opinion, why it's so bad? I need to understand this. I need you to make me see sense. I need you to make it make sense to me. What is it you're not seeing? Or what is it you are seeing that's frustrating you? I would love to know. In terms of what I've seen from people, speed, time. Speed and time. First one. Taking too long to get deals done. 5 weeks Man United have been in talks with Frenkie de Jong. That's the deal they're really speaking about. It's taking too long. 5 weeks. 12 months Arsenal have been working on Yuri Tillemans. 3.5, 4 months Gabriel Jesus. The reason that I use Arsenal is because they're being celebrated, and rightfully so, because they're having a great summer. Liverpool, I think it was 4 months they were working on Darwin Núñez. And I bet when the wood comes through the when we can see the wood for the trees, I bet you'll find Basuma. There's no way Antonio Conte woke up this week and said, you know what, I fancy a bit of Basuma. Let's get a bid in. He'll be part of a plan for months, conversation for months. Some deals are just kept quiet. The media don't pick up on them. They don't report it. But it doesn't mean they were necessarily quick. This is a fallacy. The second element I see complained about is, oh, we've only got 120 million. What are we going to do? The way it's being reported on is hilarious. All clubs sell to buy. Man City are often ridiculed for the amount of money they spend. Do you know in the last I think it's 4 years, City have sold nearly £400 million worth of player? Might be 5 years, but I've read that thing somewhere. That nearly 400 million, like 380 million pounds they have raised for the sale of players. Everybody sells to buy. But the reason it annoys me that these things frustrate me, there's two reasons: the time and the budget. One, we moaned and cried and boo-hooed when Ed Woodward told everybody how much money we've got, how big and powerful we are. We then moaned that made us overpay for players. Keep our cards close to our chest. Why have we got to be so embarrassing? Why are we out here, flashing the cash and essentially getting mugged on the street? We now do the opposite. Fans are moaning. We need to get our number one targets. Take our time, get them. We're taking our time to get Ten Hag, not just his number one target, the man he wanted Pogba to not be renewed for. He said no to Paul Pogba's renewal. Take the offer off the table. I want Frenkie de Jong. So we're now being surgical in our approach, going after our number one targets. And if we don't get them, by the way, because I'll come on to Darwin Núñez in a moment, we're moving on to other areas rather than just going down the pecking order and ending up with something that is surplus to requirements. The reason I bring that up is we've moaned and we've moaned and we've moaned for 9 years that we don't buy managers the players they want, or we give them a wish.com version. So now we're not doing that. We're moaning. Darwin Núñez is a great example. He chose Liverpool over Manchester United. These are facts. These are facts. But what have Man United done? They're going after other priority targets or number one targets for other positions. We will wait for the right striker to become available. If we have to wait a year, we wait a year. We've been begging for Man United to do this since I can remember. But now we're doing it, and we're going to cry and moan and bleat and boo-hoo. Why? Why is my question? Why are you moaning about all the very things that you've been begging for and begging for and begging for? Now, this doesn't mean we're going to have the greatest summer in the world. If it ends up being crap, I will complain about it. But what I'm seeing people moan about are the things they've been asking for. And you take a look at a moment here at the Mirror. I'm not surprised to see journalists now jumping on this bandwagon. Disastrous summer. The same page. Look at that. De Jong empties out Barcelona locker with Man United transfer inevitable. They're reporting in the same newspaper that the transfer is inevitable of one of the best midfield players in the world, but they also run the headline, disastrous summer. But do you know why they're doing it? Because Manchester United fans are making it easy. They're panicking, crying, and boo-hooing. Now, for what reason? You know, everyone's got their own agenda. A lot of people, it's their only commodity. If they're angry, that is all they've got. Anger settings are the only time people tweet, retweet them, talk to them, or watch them. So they have to find something always to rant and moan about. Others just don't understand the process, and I think they just moan whatever the scenario is. But you even delve into the article, and it will mention the Darwin Núñez thing. 100% he rejected us, okay? But it speaks here about Yuri Tielemans and how after Yuri Tielemans told Erik ten Hag that he won't be moving to Manchester before the World Cup, now there's a big problem. But you're leaving out the context of why he said no or why he's saying no right now. He's saying no as reported by Jamie Jackson, one of the most credible journalists out there, works with The Guardian, works alongside the likes of Fabrizio Romano, is that the player wants a guarantee of first-team football. He doesn't know if he's ready for first-team football in the Premier League yet. So he's saying, I don't think I'm going to do it now, though, Erik, because I don't know if I'm ready. That's not a rejection because you're not a good enough manager, a big enough club, got a good enough project. That's a personal decision that somebody has got. But we're just throwing it into this big box of rejection, and we're ignoring the reasons why. And it's horrendous to see it. It's horrendous. We're also going to sell people. And one of the biggest complaints we had, last year, is that we had all this dead wood at the club. Lingards and Bays, even though some people wanted them to play, but players that weren't playing, Hendersons, they're not playing. They're becoming disgruntled. They're leaking things to the press. They're problems. So what is one of the strategies of the new regime and Ten Hag? We have to clear out a lot of these players first before we add too much to it, because we don't want to end up in exactly the same situation that damaged us last year. So the club's doing what you asked for, but you're moaning about it. It is absolutely ridiculous. So we're working on a budget. We're trying to keep costs down. We're trying to clear out the dead wood. We're trying to only sign number one, maybe number two targets and be very surgical, very precise in our approach. We're trying to help a manager build a team for his philosophy where he needs particular types of players. We're doing all the things Man United fans are asking for, and we're moaning. Oh, you're not doing it fast enough. Fast enough. It was literally only announced just over a month ago that Man United are planning a big restructure. Of course, a new rebuild for the Erik ten Hag era. So what did you expect this summer? For all the ducks to be in a row, the plans to be in place? 8 weeks ago, Ten Hag wasn't our manager. So what he wants, what he needs, the rebuild the club's doing, now they're telling us again that they're going to take this philosophy and they're going to make it a club philosophy forever, basically. The proof will be in the pudding in that. But we're building again from scratch, from the beginning. It takes time. Now, I'm not defending the Glazers. I'm not defending Richard Arnold here. I'm simply stating I don't think they can move any faster than this if they're going to try and do it properly. And we have to be more patient, and we have to stop feeding fuel to the journalists that want to rub salt into the wounds. By the way, the wounds that you're creating. People keep saying we're desperate for De Jong. We are, but not in a negative way. Oh, De Jong don't really want to join. He's agreed personal terms. He's agreed personal terms. He's emptied out his locker. And every single journalist worth his salt from Barcelona and Spain has said it's inevitable. Barca want to sell him. Variations of that. They've not all used the same word. He's gone. He's going. A new bid's going in very soon as well. And then when Ten Hag gets that player, the other positions will fall into place. Why? Because if he doesn't get Frenkie de Jong, he will refocus. He won't just go, right, let's get a lesser version of a Frenkie de Jong. It might be, right, well, actually, let's go and get ourselves a different type of midfielder, and then we'll look at de Jong again next year. These are the things I've wanted to see from my football club for a long time. I understand the PTSD. I understand the frustration. I understand wanting things done quickly. But the way Man United fans, and they're being led. They're being led by some big voices. They're being led by certain individuals that are just being negative every day for absolutely no reason. These same very people speak to, interact with, and talk to top-level journalists regularly. They know the process. They know how things work, but they're ignoring it. Why? It's weird to me. Proper weird, mate. Proper weird, out there sort of stuff. And I think overall for me, the bit that I do find distasteful is that when the season starts, say we do have this disastrous summer and Ten Hag doesn't do well, these same fans that have the energy right now towards how we're being run, they won't be Glazer out. They won't be against the board. They'll start a new in-out campaign around the manager and blame the players they dislike. How do I know? They've done the same thing every season for 9 years on the bounce. The energy is toward the people running the club now because there's no football on. It's always in the summer where we go after the Glazers. As soon as the window ends, boom, everybody just focuses on the manager. Good summer, bad summer, or indifferent. That's my problem here. I will respect people that maintain this level of pressure on the board after the fact, rather than just right now because it's fashionable, it's what gets you likes, it's what gets you interaction, you know, a little bit of lifting your skirt up for rival fans. It's an embarrassment. The club is doing a restructure, a big overhaul internally. Some of it forced, some of it because people moved on to bigger and better jobs. A brand new manager who's got designated targets that we're working hard on. Man United will make some very good signings this summer. They will improve this squad. They will move some of the deadwood on. And it looks like they're going to do it for a decent amount of money. I think Man United fans should feel a lot more excited than they're letting on. Frenkie de Jong is becoming more and more inevitable, according to the Spanish press. And there are a number of other deals for quality players who are willing to join Manchester United under this revolution. I want your thoughts, though, and I want your feelings. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.